Welcome to our documentary web series, Transition. During this web series, we will explore the lives of two transgender individuals, me, Lexie Liebhart, and my friend, Daniel Lee Dixon. In this episode, we will ask various different people close to me and Dan to see how they reacted to learning that we are transgender and how they feel about it. Did either of you know about trans people before you met us?
Yeah, I've actually got a transgender friend. I've known since year 7.
I've been aware of transgender. Can't say I knew any people that were trans, but I was certainly aware of it.
Did you have any idea that me or Dan were trans before we told everyone?
Not
No clue.
No, I didn't. When I first met Dan and Lexie, I seen Dan as Dan, a general bloke who has a laugh with anybody who would do what a bloke would do. Lexie, I met Lexie before she went full time as Lexie, so I was known her as Dan. But from then till she is now, my opinion's completely changed of her personally, because I've noticed her change in her body language and behaviour in general.
Well, I already knew that Dan was transgender before the course started because Nick had passed on about that, but I was more surprised when I found out that Lexie was transgender, just because I wasn't expecting it, and I'd already got to know Lexie as Stan GT. I just thought it was quite exciting. I thought they were quite brave for telling everybody on the course.
So Dan, no different, because Dan had been Dan from the beginning. Lexie was changing halfway through, so it was going to be interesting, the second half.
Yeah, I think I was most worried that we would upset her when she came back, that we would get her name wrong and stuff.
But through talking to them, actually, that's what made the difference. So actually being able to ask them questions about transgender, which I didn't really know anything of, then that helped.
Well, from when I seen her as Dan, I noticed that she was more reserved, kept herself to herself, not talking with people as much, other than the select few. And that's what I'd seen. And then when I found out that she was transgender, I was completely speechless. It hit me by surprise. I noticed that she's more confident in herself, she's more relaxed, and she's willing to get involved with everybody that we work with.
For me, confidence, especially in Lexie. I think she's coped really well. I think Dan's always been confident anyway, because they're at different parts of the transition. So I think it would, I don't know, but personally I think it would have been easier for Dan to come out as being transgender, because he was already kind of changed and there, whereas I think it was a big deal for Lexie to come out, and I think she's coped with it great, and I think everyone around has coped with it great as well.
Yeah, having the confidence to change in the middle of a course, I think,
Hats off.
So, since meeting us, have either of you been more interested in looking up about transgender people and finding out about us?
I myself, I've been on Google and everything, searching all the correct pronouns, ways to be more understanding, I suppose, and just to not offend people, sort of the struggles and things like that. Looked it all up, had a little digs. Yeah.
It's not something I'd look up, to be honest. I like to sort of learn them things myself, spend more time with Dan and
with experience.
Yeah, with experience. Yeah.
It's something that I've overlooked, because I didn't know the actual terminology of what it was, because I didn't want to offend anybody by it personally. And from what I know now, from meeting these two, I'm very pleased in meeting them, because it's enlightened me personally, and I've got 2 new friends.
In next week's episode, we will be exploring my personal story, as well as interviewing my mother about her own feelings about my transition.